When vision, passion, appreciation for nature, and a love of golf come together, the result is truly spectacular. That powerful combination is on vivid display at a very special place in northern Michigan, a place where the very spirit of the game is the thing, where a man named Ed Walker set into motion and continues to oversee an unmatched golf experience at a place called the Kingsley Club. Today, we introduce you to Mr. Walker and showcase what the spirit of the game looks like, how it feels, and what a truly special golf experience is all about.
Welcome to Michigan Golf Live Television, celebrating our 20th season of shining the spotlight on the best places to stay, play, and enjoy the greatest game on earth. Stay connected 24/7 to MGL on Facebook, Twitter, our weekly radio show, and podcasts on the all-new 4golfersnetwork.com.
Hello and welcome to a very unique edition of our program. I'm Bill Hobson. We're glad to have you along, and today it's my privilege to lead you on a guided tour of a destination that was literally created to celebrate the spirit of the game, a pure golf experience located roughly 25 minutes from downtown Traverse City, Michigan. This place was carved out of the beautiful northern Michigan terrain to get you away from the noise, to get you away from distractions, and to really bring you into a peaceful setting where golf is the main thing. Welcome to the Kingsley Club. A destination focused on golf this special doesn't happen by accident. It happens because of vision and passion, and it's led by the gentleman sitting next to me, Ed Walker. Let me have you define Kingsley Club.
My personal goal was to build a club, a golf course, and a club that had the personality of what we've got here. I interviewed and talked to and considered a number of different architects. Mike had been recommended to my business partner at the time and myself as someone who really understood McKinsey and understood the minimalist approach and was willing to work with someone like myself because I'm very demanding.
Well, and you mentioned that your vision was a pure golf experience.
Right.
What falls under that definition?
As you see, we don't have a ostentatious clubhouse. You know, our facilities are very limited, not unlike what you run into in Ireland and Scotland and many places. We're not a typical golfers club where guys are trying to prove themselves with their golf game. Now, we have some excellent golfers here. You know, we have +3, +4, and then we got some 29s. And they can all play together anytime they want, and it works very well. So we're a social club from that standpoint, that people respect each other, the status of their golf game, but basically I came up with the motto, in the spirit of the game. And in the spirit of the game means it's a game for all those who participate to enjoy.
The club's about golf. The members that are here are golfers. Whether they're really good players or whether they're average players, you know, they're about playing golf. And that's really what the focus is. And everybody that comes here loves the way it plays. That's a tribute to Dan Lucas and how he maintains it and keeps it. And there was a lot of thought that went into that when we were building the golf course and thinking about the concept. And Art and Ed were really, very, very supportive of that concept.
We've talked about how the spirit of the game dominates the entire ethos of what happens here at Kingsley Club. And so when we have a chance to put a peg in the ground and actually play this beautiful Devries design course, it is really kind of exciting. And joining me for my round today is the PGA professional who has been here since roughly the age of 2 or 3. Justin Mack, how are you?
Good morning, Bill.
When did you start here?
2004.
So you've got a lot of years under your belt. You know this course better than anybody. Before we talk about strategy and how to attack even this beautiful opening hole, walk me through the mindset of the spirit of the game and how it translates into this layout.
Absolutely. The spirit of the game is everything that we do. It's our club motto. And when they built the golf course, it was exactly what they wanted it to be. The course is built right on the land. It's almost like they just planted it right there. So everything we do, whether it's the raw face bunkers, it's the fescue fairways, the ball rolling fast and on the ground, it's in the spirit of the game, just like you would 200 years ago.
And as we look at this masterpiece that was sculpted by Mike Devries, how do you describe what he did here?
Well, it started with the great piece of property that Mr. Walker found. They took years to find it, and when he did, he handed the keys to Mike and himself, and they found a golf course on this land that is outstanding. Rolls up and down. It's aggressive as far as the ball rolls. You can play multiple shots on the ground, up in the air, avoid the few hazards that we have out here, but overall just a fun golf course.
A walkable golf course.
Very walkable.
We're going to experience it on foot for a good portion of our round today with your caddy program. And as we think about that concept of the spirit of the game, pure golf, for those who are able to walk, this really is the way to go.
Absolutely. Tees and greens are close to one another. It was made to walk, and it's an outstanding walk.
Okay, I need some strategy now. You're the professional. Here we are on a very imposing appearing opening hole. What's the pro tip?
Well, obviously, it's always in the fairway, but there's two fairways here. So you can choose the left side or the right side, depending on how far you hit the ball, wind conditions. And again, right out of the gate, we have variety right off the first tee. The best thing you do is try to avoid the bunkers in the middle. Whether you go left or right, just avoid the middle. Then you've got a great shot. You've got to figure out how far you want to hit your next shot on this par 5. Whether it's 200 to give yourself that perfect 100 yards in, or if you hit a little further off the tee, then you might have an option to go for it in 2, right out of the gate.
Once you get to the Mike Devries green complexes, you better be paying attention, right, to hole location and the challenge that lies ahead. These are challenging.
Especially on the front end, you can see every green as you're playing other holes, so you can see where that pinned location would be and maybe provide some strategy down the road.
We get to experience some of the kind of gentle breeze here at Kingsley Club as we play number 2. Share with us what's special about this par 3.
Well, it's one of the highest points on property, and this green has a variety of different pin positions. The hole plays from anywhere from 72 yards from the forward tees to about 150 from all the way back. It's a challenge. You want to hit in the middle of green, ideally wherever the pin location is, and try to make your 2-putt and make par.
And with the hole cut near the front today, there's not as much room to miss on the sides, and so you could visit the fescue if you're not careful.
You could. Listen to your caddy. He says middle of the green, you go to the middle of the green.
Another fantastic tee shot from the pro. So as we get started here on number 3, this has some considerable challenge to it. What are we facing here?
It's a medium-sized par 4. Gently moves right. You play over the land. It's one of the higher spots over on this side of the property as well. And there's a beautiful rock wall in the background that frames the hole beautifully. And then a variety of different pin positions that you'll see when we get closer to the green.
You mentioned the rock walls. I'm seeing those in various parts around the course. They weren't there by accident. That took a lot of work. What's the purpose of it?
It helps shapes the hole. It gives us a Irish feel that the whole golf course in the spirit of the game is framed on. And they're locally hand stacked.
That's a lot of stacking.
It's a lot of stacking.
Now, the tee shot here, of course, has to be a little bit left because there are some pretty good-sized bunkers guarding the right side of the fairway. And then another one right before the green.
There is. But there is a lot of room behind the green. It's all mowed and able to play a nice bump and run shot if you happen to go over the green.
I think that's part of the genius of this design is that there are some areas to put the ball that you don't necessarily see in an obvious way, like from the fairway or from the tee. And if you've been around it a few times, you know.
What Mike and Ed did here was they frame the golf holes with bunkers, but yet sometimes they're not actually in play. And it helps shape the hole, and as you can tell, kind of moves you toward the left.
It's not everywhere you go that you see dual sets of tees so far apart on a hole, but number 4 here at Kingsley has that option.
Absolutely. As you know, as you've seen already, we love options out here. And number 4 is the first start of separate tees. They give you so many different options. If you're going to play 36 holes in a day, it's going to be a completely different hole every time you play it.
You, of course, true to form, hit a perfect drive in the fairway. I found that a little bit to the right can lead you down into a bit of a depression, a little bit of a canyon.
It can swallow up some golf balls right away, but it's nice and gentle down there, and then obviously you hit a good shot here. So
well, your approach was professional as always, so now we come up to a gigantic green here for our birdie opportunities.
60 yards from front to back.
That's a lot of hole location options.
That it is, and there's a lot of movement on this green.
Like you said, you'll never play the same course twice, so to speak.
No, not at all.
Justin, as we step up on the 5th tee, it almost looks like there's a tongue sticking out at us out in front of this green. This is an imposing 3 from where we are at 210 plus yards.
It is, but the green is very friendly. As you'll see, it's a bowl where everything kind of funnels down into it, and then there's actually a funnel spot in the middle of the green.
You know, there are some areas of forgiveness that you don't obviously see from the tee. Like you said, there's room to hit it. It just doesn't appear that way when you look at it from over your ball on the tee.
Absolutely. Mike has some camouflage out here, and this is one of them.
It's playable, but they're going to mess with your head a little bit.
They are. It's a great hole, and you're going to see when the ball rolls, it can funnel right into the middle, and you'll have a nice birdie putt.
So do we club down a little bit because it's going to release?
Yes. Take probably a half a club less, depending on your yardage, and and you'll see that it runs forward, sideways, left, and from the back.
Number 6 is the final hole that you and I will play together. I have a new playing partner coming after the break, and this par 4 from the tee looks incredible.
It is. It's a shorter par 4. It swales pretty hard from the right to the left. Balls will roll down into the middle of the fairway, leave you with a shorter shot into a smaller green. And this is probably the smallest green you've played yet today.
And it's another indicator that length of a golf course isn't the determining factor. This is a short par 4, but it has some challenge to it. You don't have to be 510 yards on a par 4.
No, absolutely. And it's a great hole, and it yields some birdies, just like yours.
You don't want to miss left on that second shot. They got the mower out on the left side of the green.
They do. It's tightly mowed, so you can either hit the Texas wedge or you can hit a bump and run with a 8-iron or even a wedge if you have a good flop game.
Well, no, you're accustomed to making birdie putts. I rarely do, as our viewers can attest, so it's kind of fun to drain one here. And I really appreciate you guiding us through holes 1 through 6 on this spectacular piece of property.
Absolutely, it was a pleasure.
We'll continue playing Kingsley Club after this. It is now time to showcase for you the next stretch of holes at the beautiful Kingsley Club. And to do that with me is David Plasma, the Director of Golf and Membership here. And I cannot wait to see what lies ahead on 7 through 12. And let me have you give us a feel for what we're about to experience.
Well, we continue on a pretty good, nice roller coaster on this front side where all the land moves left, right, up and down. And then we'll gradually move to the back side, which is a little more tame. Same type of style, same feel, but just a little more kind of in front of you type golf as opposed to this front side, which is, you know, as you've seen so far, a lot of movement.
It's spectacular, and as your title indicates, you get a chance to interact with a membership base that is truly international.
Correct.
What is it that draws them here from other states and other countries?
This is a throwback to old school golf. It's golf you don't get to see that much around the United States. Guys, you know, players just love to come here because you have to be on your game the whole time.
In particular, the 7th hole. Take us through it from tee to green.
It's a par 5. You drive it down the hill. It's really a 3-shotter because the farther you drive it, the narrower the fairway gets. So you have to kind of either lay up, depending on the length of your drive, and then you place yourself either on a plateau, which allows you to be about 110 yards out, but you're even with the green, or you can just kind of let her go down in a swale where you have a 70-yard shot, but you are now looking up at the green. A lot of strategy, a lot of thought, and you really have to, like you said, maneuver your way around this golf course to score well.
I don't know, David, if you're allowed to have a signature hole here at Kingsley Club, but number 8 has to be in the running if there is one.
It's definitely one of them, Bill. It's a short par 4 with a devilish little green, false front on the right side and on the front as well. The bunker comes into play at about 245, 250, so some people hit hybrid 3-wood off the tee just to lay short of that bunker. You can try to drive it up the left side or right side. There's little gaps that you can get by, but the safe play is to lay short of the bunker.
And we close out the opening 9 with a stunning 3-par, number 9, right there by the clubhouse where people sitting around the fire can watch.
Correct.
And a green that you're going to need to hit one in high and soft, it looks like, to hold it.
True. So there's 3 different portions. There's the front right shelf, which is fairly flat. There's the left bowl, which if you hit it in there, it should contain it, you know, for the most part in that bowl. And then there's the upper plateau, which is very, very difficult to land it and keep it there. But you do have to hit a high, soft shot to get it to, especially that upper plateau.
And it's another indicator that you don't have to have the longest course on the planet to challenge golfers. Number 9 is probably an 8-iron, 9-iron wedge sort of a shot.
Depending on what tees you play. Bill, that particular hole, number 9, has 2 sets of tees. You can play it from the south, okay, which the back tee is 165. You can play it from the west, totally different angle, which is about 130, 140 yards. So it's a wonderful different, it plays different every day from different tees.
After I made a mess of number 9, we stop for a quick burger and then make the turn here on number 10. This par 4 has some teeth to it as you start off the back.
It does. It's a straightaway kind of par 4, but we added a back tee that plays about 450 from the back. When I first got here, this hole was tree lined. And 2 years probably into my being here, my owners, Mr. Walker and Mr. Preston, removed the trees between 18 and 10. Made the hole much more open, plays fantastic. There's also some strategic bunkers out there that also my owner, Mr. Walker, put in, I think a year or 2 after it was built, more for aiming than anything else, but adds great dimension. It's a great par 4.
Take us over to the 11th tee, this beautiful par 3. You stand on the tee box and you think, I've got to get this one to the hole because short's probably going to be a problem.
Right. 11's about 175-yard par 3 with a plateau on the back of the green where the pin is today. You know, the easier pin placements are to the left, a little more gentle. Anything to the right is a false front, so it's going to go hard to the right. You'll be tested with a tough chip shot up to the hole.
Welcome back. We have just a few moments left on this exclusive tour of Kingsley Club. And for those of you watching in different parts of the world, Kingsley Club is located about 20 minutes from downtown Traverse City, Michigan, one of the most beautiful destinations anywhere in America. This golf course, this pure golf experience, has members and guests coming in from all around the world. And as you'll see next, when we head down the home stretch, architect Mike Devries certainly had an eye for carving out the perfect pure golf experience. This concept of having a different playing partner every few holes is really fun, and here at the Kingsley Club, there's no better way to bring it all home than by introducing all of you to Mike Devries, who has done such a magnificent job in sculpting this golf course, especially this 12 through 18 stretch that we're about to enjoy. It's good to see you, and as we get started, walk us through number 12.
Well, a great just natural valley that comes down the hill from this elevated tee. And then this is the only bunkerless hole on the course. So a really exciting way to kind of transition, and where we have a little bit more of the wooded environment in the back 9 than we do on the front. But we still have, the big landforms and a really cool green that's just behind us that's nestled kind of between a hill, which goes up to the 13th green, and then to the woods and the terminus, and then we start our stretch home.
You can tell he's the architect. He used the word terminus. So many of your holes from the tee have this postcard feel to them. When you're in the early stages of developing what the end result will be, are you looking at it from big picture, or do you just kind of hone in on this is what the property gave me and we're gonna make the most of this?
It's a combination. So I think, you're always looking at the macro and what's the overall theme and what are we trying to do. So at Kingsley, we're trying to use the land. We have a great piece of ground. We have excellent soils, really cool undulations. We're trying to integrate all that in to create unique, fun golf holes.
We move to the 13th tee, and Mike, this is a gorgeous hole from here. How does it play, and what were your design thoughts on 13?
Well, it's a unique hole here. So it's the shortest par 4 on the golf course and the biggest green that we have on the golf course.
You have some big greens out here.
Yeah, 3, 4, and 13 are the really big ones. This one's over 13,000 square feet. But it wasn't the original green. The whole intent was it was a short 4, but the green was supposed to be beyond the deep bowl that is left of the green now in kind of that big ridge formation. And so, but when we cleared all the trees and the brush away and stuff, all of a sudden there were all these fantastic contours, and we just thought, well, this should be the green because there's so many great pin placements.
There are also 2 teeing options. We're on kind of the peninsula option, which gives us a unique look at the hole and the bunkering and a little bit of number 12 from up above.
Absolutely. So a different vantage point. There's a lot of space. There's 80 yards of width out there. That's actual play space. And you don't see parts of that from either this tee or the other tee, depending on the slope of the land and stuff.
We step onto the 14th tee, and Mike Devries, this beautiful par 5, reminds me that we're in northern Michigan. It has kind of that look and feel to it.
Great vegetation back here, white pine trees, big rolling hills. We've got some bunkers tied into a ridge that you can drive over. So it does have that spectacular sort of northern up north golf feel.
This is another signature hole. I keep adding to my list of signature holes here at Kingsley Club.
That's good. That's good. It starts to reveal itself, and then the land continues to sort of flow down, and then the green is perched on a little hillside. And on the left of that is a beautiful stone wall, and that marks our property boundary. So it works in two different ways. Defines our OB, but it also gives us a really nice added feature that kind of ties the landscape and the sort of feel of the land into it.
Well, Mike, at some point there has to be a toughest hole on the golf course, and
Yep.
we are on that hole right now, number 15. Why is it so tough?
Well, it's the longest par 4, smallest green on the golf course, and the green's also perched up. So it makes it for a big challenge, but I think that's also the right place in the round for it. Not necessarily the 18th hole, where the match might already be over. But if you have a really challenging hole, and you're playing a better player, you probably get a stroke on that hole, you might be able to catch up. Or if you lose the hole, you still got 3 holes to kind of make up at the end.
Take us to 16, walk us through tee to green on 16, if you would.
So a beautiful par 3. It's a Redanish type hole. There's a big bank on the right that you can use to your favor to kick the ball in. And again, the bunkers that are on 15 that sort of frame the 15th hole work as either a cross or a side hazard on 16, and also just for the aesthetic appeal of that also.
We've got 2 holes left on this beautiful Kingsley Club surface, and Mike Devries, number 17, has a lot of surprises to it.
Well, it's a par 5, and it opposes the direction of number 14. We talked about the wind and how the wind could switch or be for one direction. So one's going to be downwind typically, one's going to be upwind, which is helpful. So this is reachable too, depending on where the wind is and how long of a hitter you are, because there's a huge valley in the second landing area, and if you hit your drive really well, you can crest that valley and then have about 160 yards in.
Wow.
So again, birdies and eagles are plentiful here, and it's a fun golf hole.
It really is.
Yeah, beautiful.
And it sets up now the home hole. 18 takes us to our conclusion, and settles an awful lot of matches.
Lots of contour and movement in the fairway, and then we come to a punch bowl green, the last punch of 3 punch bowl greens on the golf course, which is 4, 5, and 18. And so there's a natural saddle in this bowl and below the clubhouse, but you have to be at a certain angle to kind of attack certain pins from the front to the back. So if the pin's in the front, it's a better angle coming in from the right, and if the pin's in the back, it's a better angle coming in from the left, kind of along the length of the green.
Come on.
Go.
How fitting. Hey man,
A gimme.
what an honor.
Gimme finish.
What an honor to play this wonderful course with the man whose vision helped to sculpt it. Thanks for the tour, for the golf lessons, and for helping us celebrate what Mr. Walker said earlier is the spirit of the game, because you really can feel that throughout around here on Kingsley Club.
Well, thank you. It's a tribute to Mr. Walker. He did a fabulous job, funding this, taking care of us, letting Dan, Lucas, and I do what we do, and it's just fun to have everybody come and enjoy it.
Well, there's a reason that golfers literally around the world have Kingsley Club on their bucket list, so I do feel it an honor to have gone through here and played some of the holes with the esteemed Mr. Devries, who was probably headed directly to the PGA Tour Champions.
I don't think so. Thank you, Bill, though.
In the spirit of the game, what I tell folks is, hey, when you go home from here, I hope that you remember this and you take some of this feeling of this experience back to your other golf clubs or your other golf experience. Now that may sound kind of goofy to some guys, but it's what I feel and it's what we are here.
What do you want people to know about the impact of Ed Walker at Kingsley Club and on the game of golf?
Oh, I don't think that's a question I can answer. I think people will decide and remember what they want to remember and how they're impacted. And if I am lucky enough to have an impact on how people enjoy the game of golf and the Kingsley Club experience, I think the Kingsley Club itself will impact a lot of people, no matter what, whether Ed Walker's involved or no longer involved.
It's a special place. Rarely have the sounds of silence been so powerful. But when you come here to the Kingsley Club, You're wrapped up in the spirit of the game in a pure golf experience on a beautiful course, unlike really any that I've seen on the planet. What a special experience, and a special thank you we'd like to give to Mr. Walker and to Mike Devries and to the amazing team here for allowing us the privilege of sharing with all of you what is on the bucket list of so many golfers all around the world. I hope, friends, that at some point you're able to experience a place this special. I hope you're able to come tee it up at the Kingsley Club.